Creamer Media's Mining Weekly is interviewing Patricia Kula-Verster, the Business Development Manager of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Hi, Patricia. I'd like to kick off with this question. Why should companies with critical metals and minerals consider listing on the JSE to fulfill their capital raising needs?
So first of all, one cannot ignore the role that critical minerals, of course, have in today's rapid growing clean energy technologies. If you look at the critical minerals such as, copper, magnesium, lithium, nickel, cobalt, rare earths, for example, of course, many, many more, it is really a good opportunity to look into these critical minerals and see where the opportunities lie in terms of the broader electrification of the global economy. As many globally are, of course, looking at securing energy security globally, not only here in South Africa. So really, South Africa has got an abundance of resources and reserves, and it is important to facilitate access to funding and unlocking this potential. So whether you are a new or existing operation, the JSE is really here to facilitate that access to capital, similarly to what we did with Copper 360. Let's also not forget, South Africa's got about 6,000 of unexplored and abandoned mines, which really does create an opportunity to model some data and facilitate and raise some capital for these operations. Access to liquidity and capital give these opportunities a platform to develop these mines and really make a significant contribution to the South African economy that we so desperately need at the moment. So overall, the JSE is really here to facilitate additional liquidity, additional capital raise for all these critical minerals that the global economy is, of course, looking for. By listing on any global exchange or any exchange globally, you are essentially using the franchise of that exchange, and particularly in the JSE's case, you're using the franchise of the JSE to profile yourself not only to institutional but retail investors. It is important for issuers to ensure that they maintain their profile and also research coverage. We've got a number of fantastic independent research analysts here in the country that have done a sterling job in terms of covering a lot of these stocks to retail investors. At the exchange, we've got around a dozen retail brokers or so, plus financial services providers, that really have made their job to ensure that they make a user-friendly experience, an enjoyable, accessible experience in terms of trading stocks on an exchange. So really, the most important thing is to continuously speak to the retail investor and audience base. The JSE is here to also assist a lot of our companies in terms of their broader exposure. And also, as the company sets to grow and is included in indices, for example, you will then also see a big move and a jump in terms of additional products that these companies can get included into. So exchange traded funds, for example, which invest in a basket full of shares, is again a fantastic opportunity to get some indirect shareholding in some of these types of companies, as well as actively managed certificates. Once you are listed on the JSE, you get a continuous access to both equity and even debt capital markets, depending on what your funding requirements are. There is access to capital via the JSE for junior miners, not only the large miners. The JSE can also assist in terms of the JSE private placement platform, which facilitates capital raising for those companies that perhaps are either A, not ready to do a listing just yet, or looking at some form of a pre-IPO funding. So overall, I think as an exchange, our role is here really to facilitate the access to capital for a lot of these junior miners and miners.
That was Creamer Media's Mining Weekly, speaking to Patricia Kula-Verster, the Business Development Manager of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange.